hi, namaste. Hope you're fine. As you know, I always try to connect you with the people who are doing great and inspiring the world. Today, we have Neville Gaunt from United Kingdom. He is the chairman of Your Passport to Grow and also the co-founder of MindFit. And he also a keynote speaker and the co-author of books. So today, we will try to learn something from him and we'll know about him. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, Asma. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And I apologize for not having my cam on, but we've got a bit of a technical issue. So if you can put up with me just having a smiley face, I hope that's good enough. Otherwise, I am here in person live. So good to see you.
That's okay. That's perfect. The purpose is sharing the message, and I think so that would be okay. So that message will be delivered. So no worries. Sir, as you're doing, I think you're doing awesome. So I just want to know that in your program, there is usually a question that tell about yourself. But I want to know that is what you are doing is the same thing what you want to do from your since your childhood? Are you passionate about? How with the passage of time you evolve and you try different things? What's the story in your case?
Oh, it's a fascinating question, and we've only got a few minutes, so we can't really go into detail here. But am I doing something that I dreamed of in my childhood? The answer is no, actually. I'm not too sure what I dreamed of in my childhood, but it certainly wasn't doing what I'm doing today. And let me explain what we do, because that might be of interest. We help people achieve their absolute opportunity. So if you want to be the best you can be, and I believe everyone does want to be that, then we work with you and we guarantee that that will happen. What you do is entirely up to you. But we all want to be the best. We all want to have that can-do attitude that we had as children, actually. So we learned to walk not by going to school, not by reading books, not by really doing anything apart from watching what other people were doing. And when we were 7, 8, 9 months old, we started to walk. Imagine the determination you had when you were a baby starting to walk, how committed you were to it. The fact that you fell over many, many times and probably hurt yourself when you tried to stand up, but you fell over. But you succeeded. And that's what we do today. So we take that little element of success that you had when you were a baby, and we put a process around that. So whatever age you are, we help you succeed in whatever you want to do. So am I doing what I dreamed of doing as a child? No, not really. I went to university. I became an accountant. I got an MBA. I started working in the oil and gas industry for nearly 30 years, and I was a project manager around the world. I really enjoyed doing what I did because it was very different on a daily basis. I visited Pakistan many times in the 90s, at least 3 times a year for nearly 10 years, and really enjoyed, working with people. So I suppose as we're a child, we learn to work with other children. We learn to communicate with other children. And now what I do is we help you understand how good you really can be. So I hope that helps. It's taken a few years for me to realize that, because you can see I'm not student age. I'm nearly 62 years old, so I've been around for a few years and experienced lots of things. But we all have it in us. We've all got huge potential. We've all got a can-do attitude, if only we worked out where that was stored in our brain somewhere. Hope that helps.
That's really amazing. I think that's really evolving and inspiring. So I did want to know that you have, as you also mentioned that you also doing work in Pakistan, and you also have, I think so, a wonderful experience, and that's really so. I we know wanna know that what's the best learning of your life till now, or the best experience. If you feel comfortable, can you please share what you feel that was the because what you learn with dealing with the people, that's more rather than the reading books and reading or watching something. But when you experience that thing, that's learning is much more, I think so, okay, much more have impact and effect. So can you please share?
Yes, certainly. Those people that really know me know that I hate reading books, and I've hated reading books forever. You know, as a child, even storybooks were quite boring. Apart from 2001: A Space Odyssey, that I really enjoyed reading, several hundred pages long. But it wasn't reality; it was fiction, and I've been fascinated by what we see on the TV. You know, what programs we have currently, what programs I had when I was growing up, like Star Trek and Doctor Who, that many of your listeners may have heard of Star Trek, but probably not Doctor Who. And when you look back now at those programs, you see how badly they were made. You know, how poor these programs are put together. They're not like Star Wars of today or Avengers, you know, where the sci-fi effects are just absolutely phenomenal, and yet it's not real. It's all done in the digital world by some very clever individuals. So I've always been fascinated, if you like, by seeing what other people do. You might call it people watching. And you learn so much from just watching people. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in a boardroom in the middle of London and you know, in the highest building in a very palatial arena, and you're there with chief executives of different companies, or you're sitting on a beach watching kids, you know, how they play, how they relate to each other. A lot of people will call this being in the moment. So in other words, enjoying everything at every opportunity, seeing the best of anything. You know, when it's pouring down with rain, taking your raincoat off, throwing your umbrella away, and just feel the rain hit you. I mean, that's an amazing experience, actually. But the interesting thing is, I probably waited 45 years to do that. But you need to, my advice to everybody is, look at what you're doing now. Look at the moment. Look around you. See what you can experience. And if you like it, do more of it. It's pretty simple, really. Life is simple. People make it complicated. So like you, for instance, all right? What do you enjoy doing? What do you really enjoy doing? Exactly. What passion have you got for something?
Amazing. Amazing. Exactly as you mentioned, life is really simple, but we, as by doing a lot of, we make it complicated. But when we focus and we observe the things around us, and it looks so, yeah, it's amazing, the amazing experience. And so, as you focus, you also the co-founder of MindFit, and you also focus in your writing on MindFit. But we usually, we usually have the mindset that we are born with certain kind of potential, a certain even certain capacity. So, what is this mind fit, and can we make our mind fit? Can we change? Can we build our capacity? Can we change our potential? We want advice from your side.
Sure, sure. I'm going to give you a little analogy now. What I suggest is people can see you, they can't see me. Find where your ears are. Use your fingers and find your ears. Put your left hand on your left ear and your right hand on your right ear. Do that. Physically do it. Okay? On your ear. Hold your ear. That's it. Right, now, between those two ears is about 5 inches, about 12 centimeters, okay? And in between those ears, you've got a brain, okay? Now, imagine your brain is a computer, because it is. It's a very powerful computer. And computers need software. And the brain has got software called mindset. So if you imagine your brain as a PC and the software you put into your brain as your mindset, is anything going to stop you doing anything?
All right, all right.
You've got unlimited capacity, unlimited capability, because you're a computer and you have a mindset. So you can put whatever software in that goes into your mindset and you can compute it and make sense of that software. So you can become, the younger you are, the more opportunity you've got, because you can do absolutely anything. When you get older and older, those opportunities become fewer in some respects, because, I mean, I'm nearly 62 years old. I would love to be an astronaut. But the reality of me being an astronaut is very remote now. It's not impossible, but it's very remote. If I'd have decided to be an astronaut at 16, I'd have been an astronaut. Because I would have known I need maths, I need some chemistry, I need some physics. I need to go and maybe get my pilot's license. But now I've got to do all those things in a very, very limited time frame. Plus the fact I'm getting older and my body isn't up to the stresses and strains that an astronaut will be put through in space. So my answer to you is we have limitless capability, but it's limited by our mindset.
All right, exactly. That's really amazing. So as you also, there are youth who usually, today as we are going through university schools, but usually focused on numbers, as we also talked in yesterday, numbers and grades. We usually are focused on that. But that's the why when we end up our degree, we usually have these skills. So today I want to learn that from your side, how we can work on ourselves since from very early age, so that even after the degree or even after completing our education, we have a personality with the required skills. Like we goal for degree, but after completing 4 years or 2 years, we still remain the same as we were some years before. So we usually don't focus on, or we usually focus on the other thing. So how we need to focus and can take both things, because we usually focus on study because we think it's important, and the other or personality are other skills side by side.
You're absolutely right. And in every country in the world, there is something called the education system. And most education systems are exactly the same. You go to school, you meet in a small community. Typically, there are 30 children in your class. That's what they say is the normal size. And each year you go, so you start in year 1 and you go to year 2 and you get a certificate from year 1. And then in year 2, you learn more things and you get a certificate at the end of year 2. So we are driven by certificates, passing exams.
Yeah.
But what about the exam of life? What about the exam of being a good friend? We don't have those. And yet, those are the most important skills that you need once you get a job. Because let me ask you a question, okay? A simple question. If you were to employ people, what would you look for in that person?
I first look at that person. Like, is it a good person? When you talk about I look to his personality, but I usually for his attitude. Attitude, I think that's most important. When he will at first he come and he talk with me, so I did how that person is talking, what's his attitude.
So do you ask that person for their certificate on attitude?
No, but that's not the
I'm
priority.
joking.
But
I'm joking.
that's
I'm
the first
joking with
thing.
you. I'm joking with you because
Okay, that's
they
the
won't have
first
one.
thing. Okay.
They
Okay.
won't have a certificate on attitude. They will have a certificate on maths. They will have a certificate of a degree in chemistry or engineering or physics, but they won't have a certificate on attitude.
Yeah.
And yet that's the first thing you said you would look for in a person you would employ. So let me ask the same question, but to a different area, okay?
Okay.
If you were making new friends, what would you look for in a friend?
I think that's would be same. I will look for his attitude, how he's dealing with me, how he's talking, how he's behaving, his behavior.
Exactly. You know, are they smiling like you are now? Are they listening? Are they having a conversation with me? Are they interesting people? Do I trust them? But
Yeah.
where's the certificate on trust, on being an interesting person, on having the right attitude, on having good communication skills? Where are these certificates? They don't exist, actually. They do when you get into professional life, but they don't for the audience that we're talking to here. However, they're the most important certificates of life. How do you feel about life? Do you enjoy life? Are you really interested in anything? You know, do you like cricket or soccer? What is it about cricket that you like? I know that there's things that you really like because you and I have had a conversation before. You're very passionate about chemistry, but you're more passionate about something else. And when
Yeah.
we spoke, you know, I said, so what is it about this something else? Because I heard it in your voice. It changed. When I said, what do you really enjoy doing? And the thing is, people say, oh, I really like watching cricket. But no one ever asks them why. Because if you can find out why you enjoy watching cricket, you know, is it the thrill of a batsman knocking a six? Is it the thrill of someone catching somebody out? Is it the thrill and excitement that a bowler gives you when they run up and they bowl a googly and the best batsman in the world loses his wicket? What is it that excites you? And the thing is, the sooner we find this out early in our life, the more likely we'll be very successful because we'll find a purpose. Because when you know what excites you in, say, cricket or entrepreneurship or getting people to succeed that you've never met before, teaching them IT skills as you do, it's that you need to capture and say, I feel that here. Where else can I feel it? Because if I can feel it somewhere else, I can do that too. Does this make sense?
All right. That's really exactly, and that's really awesome. So as to our previous talk, I just want to continue it. As you know, everybody wants us to make successful, and everyone we know that with the passage of time, we realize that everybody have different definition of success. Every for every person, success is different. But as I want to know from your side this question, as you have the experience and you're also working with a lot of people, so I want to know to you what is success to you, and if you define success, how you define it.
Well, that's a really difficult question, isn't it? Because I mean, it changes over the years, and if anyone says it doesn't change, then they're not telling you the truth. When I was very young, and I didn't understand money, success was I had many years in the Scouts. I joined the Cub Scouts when I was 5. I went into Scouts when I was 11, and then I went into Venture Scouts when I was 16. And I had the time of my life in Scouts. And being successful at that time was as simple as being able to tie a knot. And knowing not just that I can tie the knot, but why the knot tied in the right way was important. So, for instance, okay, if you're abseiling or climbing up a mountain face, they use a knot called an abseil's knot. And when you use that, if you tie it properly, you know it will never, ever come apart. But if you don't tie it properly, it will come apart. Now, that might be the difference between someone saving a life or losing a life. Now, that might sound a little radical, but just a simple knot, tying it in the right way, is the difference between life and death. So part of my success was doing things and doing things to the best of my ability, but more importantly, doing them right. And if I didn't do it right, I didn't beat myself up. I'd say, okay, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Because what we do know is the right practice makes perfect. Any practice makes permanent. But how do you know that any practice is the right practice? So throughout my life, so that's just a definition of success very early on. And then I realized actually to be very successful meant you needed to earn a lot of money. And I was probably about 18 or 19 when I thought, okay, money is going to make me really successful. I want a big house. I want a yacht. I want to travel the world. You know, I want houses in every country. And very quickly, I realized actually that money wouldn't actually make me that successful, because all it would mean is that I would need more money to fuel my passion of earning money. So I realized very early on, actually, that money didn't make success. And part of that was my religion, you know, proved me wrong. And those that are religious realizes that money doesn't make for success. So rather than success, I would say at that point, maybe early 20s, I looked at fulfillment. What made me happy? What did I enjoy? And of course, you need money to live. But if you're driven by going after money, you probably won't be very happy. I see lots of very successful people that haven't got much money at all. And I see some very successful people on the outside that aren't very happy. So that hasn't really answered your question in full, but hopefully it's helped you think a little bit about what success means to you, because frankly, what it means to me is irrelevant. You know, it's not my experience. It's what it's going to do for you. What do you think being successful is? As you said before, you know, you're running IT courses for someone else where they're smiling and they're learning something, and you've got a sense of achievement being successful. Big smile on your face. Even when I said it, you knew what I was going to say, and the smile came to your face because you're remembering what you did for those people. And you're remembering the people, the physical faces of those people that you did it for. And I bet they had a smile on their face like you've got, because they were achieving things. So success today is that smiley face.
Wow. Wow. Actually, and I ask this question to everyone to whom I talk. I'm in search of but I usually feel that I usually realize that most of the people have the same definition, and they same realize that, and they change. And even the same person have a different definition at different time, and that's amazing. So, I also want to know that, as you mentioned, we also like there are some people who want to be perfect and they're perfectionists. But like I have that attitude, but I never get it. I never ever get it any perfection. Whenever I try to recover one mistake or one deficiency, there another mistake comes. When I recover that, there another. So, is there any formula to achieve perfection, or this is okay?
Well, the formula is simple, okay? And let me take one step back here, okay? What we believe and what we experience forms our attitude. That makes sense, doesn't it? So if I believe the Earth's round and some of my experiences prove that the Earth is round, I might have a very expansive attitude about traveling the world. But if I believe the world is flat, I will only go to a part of the world where I feel comfortable. Because if ultimately, if it's flat, it ends somewhere. And I will fall off the end and I will lose. I will be out of existence. Now, that's a pretty simple, maybe simplistic example. But for many years, many people did think that the Earth was flat. Okay, it's only in relative recent history that people believe that the Earth is round. However, the important equation here is our experiences and our belief form our attitude, and our attitude in action is our behavior. So our behavior is really the thing that matters. So the best formula is have great behavior. It's as simple as that. Just have great behavior. Smile at people. Engage people. Inspire people. Tell people how good they are when they're feeling down. Let them know how talented they are. I'm a mathematician. I said this earlier today to somebody. I will prove to you that 1 + 1 is always greater than 2. Okay? A mathematician will say that's not possible because 1 + 1 always equals 2. It's not greater than, it's not less than, it always equals 2. But if you put two people together, you and you say something and I add to it, and you add to it, then I add to it, that's more than 2, isn't it? Always more than 2, because we get the benefit out of each other. And you're only going to get that by having a positive attitude, reinforcing what someone's saying. So in many respects, this might sound very simplistic, but it is easy once you start doing it, and practice ultimately makes perfect. If you start smiling and make it your habit, other people will smile back. And unless you've got no feelings at all, if someone smiles at you, you'll feel good. It's a universal language, smiling. And we all, you know, we're human beings. We do actually like people smiling. Try it. People should try it. You know, just smile at people in the street. They can't afford, they'll look back at you and smile. They might even say, why have you got a smile on your face? It's miserable around here. And you can say, it's a beautiful world. And they'll go, oh, okay. So what's so beautiful about it? And all of a sudden you're having a conversation with somebody. This is about, underneath here, I see the words, connecting the world. We connect the world with a smile. That's how it starts, you know? You've got a great smile. You've been smiling all the way through. That means you're thinking, you know? It's quite simple.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and that's really simple, and how much impactful it is. That's really wow. A simple smile. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us time, for sharing us your experiences, such wonderful thoughts, ideas. I think it's really a wonderful session. I really love it, and there are many things to learn. And then they are really simple, but have great impact. I think so. That's really important. Usually, not focused on such things. Thank you so much. It's really honor to have you. Sir, at the end, anything you want to say, any message, any advice?
The advice that I give to anybody is a bit of advice that someone gave to me, and I didn't appreciate what it meant for nearly 20 years. But it's a saying that Henry Ford said. Okay, we're talking about last century, in the early 1920s, 1930s. Henry Ford, the designer and the guru of the Ford T car, so an evangelist, a visionary. And he said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
All right. That's really amazing. And thank you so much, sir, for giving us time. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. At the end, we always say one thing: stay positive, be positive, and spread positivity. In this way, we can bring positivity around. Take care of yourself and take care of others. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz. Rab Rakha. Thank you, sir. It's really
My
honor to
pleasure.
have you. Have a good day.
Allah Hafiz. Bye-bye.
Allah Hafiz. Bye-bye.